Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a brand new F1 Esports video on this channel. Last one was around Austria, this one is around Montreal, and probably one of the most controversial races in F1 Esports history. And right there I'm just scrolling through the race director, seeing what compound everyone is going to start on. But there you can see at the end of the race there's scheduled rain. So I wasn't sure. Originally, I planned to start on the softs, but because of that, I decided to start on the mediums and maybe make it until the rain. And even if it started raining, I could always still start or go on softs, and then the softs will be a lot faster when it's drizzling or light rain. So yeah, let's head into the race. 5 red lights behind David Tunitsa, who's also on a medium compound tire, and away we go. And straight away when we get off the line, you could see the Ferrari of David Tunitsa turning to the right, which indicated to me that his AI was driving, and I didn't understand it at the time. As you can see there, he crashed on my screen, and Freddie Rasmussen on the softs is now in P2. So that was very weird. I straight away went onto the radio to JD and Dominic that I felt like I was desynced from David. So they started to, or at least JD started to communicate with Ferrari at the time that I wasn't be able to see David on the screen. And that's why Freddie on the softs is not pushing me at all, because on his screen David is right there, but for me it isn't. So Freddie has to get past David, who is not there on my screen. So that's very confusing, of course. But I just have to keep focused, not make any mistakes, don't get track limit warnings, and nurse these tires until lap 17, 18, maybe even longer if the rain actually does come. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Freddie is going to be able to get past David. Because if he doesn't, then basically the race is going to be between me and David from there on. But that's going to be quite difficult as I cannot see him on my screen. You can see there, it says he is in P1, but 5 tenths behind me. So that's very confusing. But it means that he is ahead of Freddie Rasmussen in P2. So that's my only indication that's for me knowing where he is. So yeah, he's also on the same strategy as me. One of the few people on the same strategy as me. Apart from some people who started more to the back of the field, David is, I think, the only one in the top 10 starting on the mediums. So coming to the end of lap 2 now, I think we're going to set the fast lap. You can see purple sector 1 and then green as Marcel Kiefer goes only half a tenth faster on the soft compound of tires, and Brendan Lee 1 tenth faster on the soft compound of tires. Those softs won't stay fast for really long. They're good for around 5 laps, and then they start to equal out towards the mediums a little bit more. Now, during the race, as you can see there, I'm skipping through some parts as JD had to tap out of the screen to communicate with Ferrari. So that's why I have to skip through some of those laps, as well, there's no point in showing a Discord screen, as JD had to consistently communicate with Ferrari about what they were going to do, because if David tries to overtake me, I will simply not see him and crash into him basically. So there's nothing I can do about it at the moment until I see him again, which is not very likely, as usually when you're desynced it just stays until one leaves the lobby or until the session is ended basically. So Freddie 1 second behind still hasn't got past David Tunitsa on the mediums, so his soft compound stint is basically going to waste at this point of the race, because he cannot use the soft compound rubber at the moment. And I think he's gonna go, or a lot of people are gonna go for a very aggressive undercut. But around Montreal, that's very hard, as you indeed will get a very big undercut, but the tire wear on the rear tires is a lot higher compared to the front. So the earlier pit, the more oversteer you're going to get towards the end of the race, and that's going to be extremely hard on a track where you need so much rear tires for traction. So that's going to be interesting. You can see David Tunitsa 4 tenths behind me. He basically just has to stay behind me all the time, otherwise we're going to crash at some point, unless he decides to go for an undercut. And that I'm not be able to get him back. So that's going to be interesting. Some people pitted for the mediums that can go until the end from here on. I think the mediums can do around 20 to 21 laps around here. So some people pitting really early. I think my teammate Danny Bresnay went for a very aggressive undercut. So he's going to undercut some people. Freddie Rasmussen stayed out for one more lap, who is ahead of Brendan Lee, Simon Weigen, and Joni Tormela. Of course, David Tunitsa is actually in P2, but we're just not be able to see him. During the race, I was asking Jeff about the weather report all the time, as well, I want to know if rain was coming or not. And Jeff was saying it was coming, but in the end, it didn't. So very weird. I remember at the time there were some glitches with weather reports being not right or good. So as you can see there, all the soft runners have pitted. Now the first medium runner is Danny Moreno in P3, who I think started around P17, P18. He didn't get through to Q2, so he was out in Q1. Behind him, Enzo Benito and James Baldwin, also on the medium compound tire. You can see there, it's 27% on the rear left, still 5/10 ahead of David Tunitsa. And basically what I have to do now is just push as hard as possible so I don't get undercut by the people who pit onto the mediums, which is hard because, as I said before, rear tire wear is extremely high around here. So quite a few people are going to undercut me, but all I have to do is not get track limit warnings and push as hard as I can. So now moving on to the start of lap 14, David Tunitsa went into the pits for the soft compound of tires. So he's going to do 11 laps on those softs, which is quite a stretch, to be honest. Actually 12 laps. That's quite aggressive, but I think he just wants to undercut me so he can get rid of me pretty much. So that's an interesting strategy right there. Enzo Benito in P3 still in the mediums, ahead of Freddie Rasmussen, who pitted of course from the soft to medium, and my teammate Danny Bresnay 2.2 seconds behind him. So Freddie really picking up the pace of the race, now only 9.8 seconds behind me. So he's already undercut me by 6 to 7 seconds, as the pit stop delta is around 15 to 16 seconds. So now, end of lap 17, I'm coming into the pits to put on a new set of soft compound tires. I think I was one of the latest to pit. I think I was the latest to pit actually of the whole field. So yeah, new soft compound tires go on. It's a 2.5 second pit stop, which is fixed for this championship. And now I basically just can push flat out until the end of the race. 8 laps on the softs is quite easy. So straight away I put my overtake button on to not get behind Danny Moreno, who is on the alternate strategy as well, but on 3 lap older soft, so I don't want to get stuck behind him. I put my overtake button on and around the outside through the chicane here. I think he didn't really want to battle me too hard. As I said before, he started quite far to the back, so basically points for him will be already a win starting from P17. So now straight away behind Michael Romanidis, heading under the bridge. We will get DRS on the long back straight, but we didn't on this little middle straight in the middle sector. So you can see we have so much more grip than him. Going into the hairpin, down the inside immediately, Manuel Biancolila touches with my teammate Danny Bresnay, who was on those very old medium tires. He went for the undercut and now he has to pay the price for it. As you can see there, I'm using all of my overtake available down this little straight to get ahead of my teammate, and now heading into the chicane. As you can see there, there's a flying Enzo Bonito or David Tunitsa. So yeah, that was interesting. That was very distracting. But now, start of lap 19, still behind Manuel Biancolila. We can see his rear light is flashing, so that means he's out of ERS pretty much. You can see my first track limit warning of the race. As here we touch slightly. Luckily I didn't get damage from it, but he's on 10 to 12 lap old mediums, so I just checked there real quick if I didn't add any damage. And then going through here again, I had to be really careful I didn't hit him. I simply have so much more pace at this point. And now into the hairpin, he's going to defend for me. I go around the outside, and that's an easy pass at this point. And now straight away behind Marcel Kiefer, I do have the DRS. I think Biancolila didn't have any DRS. I wasn't sure if he got it from Marcel Kiefer. I think he actually had, because he's staying quite with me on this long back straight. So now going towards the start of lap 20, in P5, So basically we made up in 2 laps time already 4 positions. So that's 2 overtakes per lap. And at this point I was really confident I was going to get at least P2, but Freddie Rasmussen was driving an absolute insane race, or at least an insane stint on these mediums, because you can see how far he is ahead of Nicolas Longway. So now behind Marcel Kiefer, I'm not going to overtake him on this little straight, as that will just cost me time. And he used a little bit of overtake there, so he was sure I was not going to overtake him. But then through here, we get much better traction, and we already completely passed him going into the hairpin. And then, as you can see, no one is ahead of Nicolas Longway on my screen. But then if we go to the spectator cam or the live stream at the time,
Marcel Kiefer, get rid of that. The car behind him is Marcel Kiefer, because Jarno Opmeer is going on the charge.
I absolutely love this, crucially for Alfa Romeo, but Resney down to 10th. So we're looking at the constructors fight. Red Bull still looking very strong, but Jarno Opmeer is carrying the charge.
It is like he has the game on easy.
On the spectator mode, you could clearly see David Donitsa was ahead of Nicolas Longway, and I think this lap 22 was the lap of the incident. And then on my screen you could obviously see nothing, but on the spectator cam, this happened.
3 laps to go.
Oh, come on, David. David bounces off the wall. Oh no, they come together. The two rivals.
He's upside down.
As a massive crash for David Donitsa, who had done brilliantly to make his way up the order, but he's come together with Jarno Opmeer to give Freddie Rasmussen a breathing opportunity out front. But Opmeer trying to make use of that extraordinary pace that he had, coming together, and right now it has ruined the race for David Donitsa, who is down to 6th position.
Donitsa was flipping in the background, so you can see he's got front wing damage there as well. He is an ailing Ferrari.
So yeah, that happened. Very controversial, of course. A lot of people thought I just simply crashed out David, but I couldn't do anything about it as he was just not on my screen. So yeah, unfortunate, of course, for David, who already had a lot of bad luck in this season of F1 Esports. And yeah, at the time I got a team radio message from Dominic saying Donitsa crashed out, and I didn't understand at all why he crashed out. But well, looking at the footage after the race, I could of course understand what happened. But yeah, now moving on to halfway through lap 24 actually, I kept on pushing, of course, even though I was under investigation at the time. And now only 2/10 behind Freddie Rasmussen on those old mediums. My softs are, of course, going down as well, grip level wise, but still in much better shape than the tires of Freddie Rasmussen. I put on the overtake in the slipstream plus the DRS, and going into the chicane side by side, I managed to brake slightly later, which gives me the lead of the race. And after such a difficult race with the communication and the flying Ferrari into the chicane, I had more moments where this kind of stuff happened, but unfortunately James couldn't see it because he was communicating through Discord at the time. But yeah, I had to avoid quite a few times flying Ferraris in chicanes or flipping Ferraris, which were not actually them, because that was just the AI driving, as Bono Huis puts the fastest lap of the race. But let's just have a quick look at that overtake on Freddie again into the final chicane.
With the race lead being debated once again, what has Rasmussen got in terms of defensive driving? Whatever he's got, he needs to use it right about now, because Jarno Opmeer, surely under investigation, can't do anything about that, but he can take the lead on the penultimate lap, beaten by Rasmussen and Zandvoort. He goes ahead of his rival as he starts the final lap in 1st position.
So yeah, I think one of my best moves of the year, to be honest. It's always very tricky to overtake into the final chicane, but I had more momentum and better tires, so I managed to pull it off under quite a lot of pressure. As I come across the line, 1.6 seconds ahead of Freddie, winning my, I think, 3rd race of the season, if I got it correct. So yeah, very happy with it, of course, extending the lead once again, but Red Bull finishing 2nd and 3rd. Very crucial for the constructors, but yeah, very very fun race. Not for other people, of course. I feel quite bad for David, as he didn't deserve to get 0 points, of course, and didn't deserve to crash out. But yeah, racing can be brutal sometimes, and yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be uploading more F1 Esports videos in the coming weeks. Also with the virtual GP this Sunday, I'm driving in that, and Formula E race around New York City tonight for my first race for Mercedes AMG Petronas. As you guys might have seen, I joined them last Tuesday. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more, and see you guys next time. Ciao.